Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. Follow us on Twitter at Boink Studios and check out our Facebook page where you can see all of our projects, past, present, and future. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and you are listening to Tom Clark's Main Event. This is episode number 56 of the podcast, and if you are joining us today for the very first time, we will bid you welcome. If you're coming back for a repeat visit, we say, hey, thanks for checking back in with us. And to all of those involved, we will extend to you, as always, the customary laurel and a hearty handshake. Thanks for listening. Thanks for reading. Thanks for supporting. And hey, thanks for always being there, Doc. Do you like the way I announce the T in supporting, the way I enunciate it? Supporting. You know why, right? It's because I'm from the South. And down here, our INGs tend to sound like INs. Like instead of supporting, it becomes supporting. Thanks for supporting us, fool. By the way, I say fool all the time now. I'm getting off on a rant, aren't I? My apologies. Hey, how are you? Glad you are with us. I'm Tom. This is my show. This is the main event. 56 episodes deep is what we are. Still having a blast bringing it to you. Hope you're still having a blast listening. We got to take a quick moment to thank everyone out there for downloading, subscribing, all that good stuff, for reading the columns, for supporting, for emails, for all the stuff that goes along with us doing what we do here at Boink Studios. Speaking of Boink Studios, the equipment we have is pretty good, if I must say so, but at the same time, it's a bit tough to drown out torrential downpours and lightning storms and thunders, and dude, it's insane. It's like, Thor and Loki are teeing off on each other up there, man. Like 5 days in a row. It's crazy. Down the South, man. God has it out for us, and for a lot of good reasons, I suppose. But hey, you know what? We're pressing on. Number 56 is here. Be happy. I'm overjoyed. We've got a brand new podcast that is on the horizon. We're going to send that sucker into iTunes here probably within the next 24 to 48 hours. If you've read the bios on my Twitter and or Facebook page, Twitter and Facebook and the Boink Studios Twitter as well. The new show is called Tom Clark's 30-Minute Fun Show. And that's exactly what it's going to be, folks. It's going to be fun from top to bottom. But you know who it's going to be? It's not going to be just me. It's not going to be me and Kyle this time. We have our own show. That's Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. This time it's going to be myself and the boy. That's right. My 7-year-old is going to be my sidekick. And we hope that you will subscribe and download that sucker as soon as it hits. We will keep you abreast of the situation. As soon as that thing is available, we will let you know. And hopefully you will continue your patronage toward Boink Studios. We do appreciate your business as always. Our podcasts are free. You don't have to join a special club. We don't charge for the columns or anything like that. A lot of pro wrestling websites do. God bless them. If they can get people to pay for that stuff, have at it. I write and I produce content because, I do get paid for it, but also because I love what I do for a living, and this is part of that, and I'm glad to bring this to you each and every time that I possibly can. And again, we appreciate you always being with us. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. You'll have to excuse the recording there. I hope nothing funky just happened. We're going to listen back during the editing process and make sure that we're good here. But the cat decided he wanted to be a part of the recording process. So he had to politely be whisked away. We have mascots here at Boink Studios. What can I tell you? But, hey, we're animal lovers, man. That's what we are. We believe in, the little furry guys. And I don't really know where I'm going with this. I don't really have a good explanation. Well, that's it. That's all I got. Why don't we just get to the show before any other craziness begins to happen in or around me right now? Let's just do that, shall we? So this time, the subject, the main event, as it were, this time around, is Brock Lesnar and other WWE news. And I know that's a boring title. I can write a good column. I'm terrible at titles. I always have been. My editor at Bleacher, I had to lean on that dude all the time to give me some titles for columns because I am flat out terrible at it. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to try to work in, make myself out to be something I'm not. Again, I can write a column all day long, but when it comes to the title of that sucker, I'm a bit on the weak side if I'm being honest with you. So it is what it is. But in any event, we hope that you enjoy this one. Let's go ahead and get started right off the bat, man. Before we go any further with any more nonsense, let's just go ahead and get to everything that we have to talk about this time out. Brock Lesnar. Wow, dude, Brock Lesnar done messed up. And we didn't see it coming. No one saw it coming. I've written about it. If you care to go check out the work, it was published as of today being July 18th, actually, depending upon when you choose to listen to this particular episode. The story is entitled Brock Lesnar Complex City, which he is exactly that right now. This is the bad part about the whole thing with Brock. Okay, the potential drug test failure, it's still unclear about what it was he took. I'm not seeing headlines, let's put it that way. It's still very early on in the process. This story is only a few days old. By the time you listen to this whole thing could have blown over, or it could become much, much worse than it is right now. I have no idea. To say that we're disappointed as fans is probably an understatement. I'm disappointed every time a guy from our business, from the business, gets hit with a drug test, suspension, a wellness policy, Roman, whoever it is. And through the years, anytime the steroid controversy hit the fan as it did, I was one of the guys that hung his head in shame, because people can say whatever they want to say about the business of pro wrestling. Oh, it's fake. It's all fake. They're not really hitting each other. They're all buddies. I love that one. They're all buddies. They're all friends. Sure they are. Gotcha. So they can say all that garbage, and I can live with that. But when the steroid stuff comes up, when performance-enhancing drugs comes up, with human growth hormone, or whatever the case may be, that's when I hang my head in embarrassment, because there's not a lot you can do to fight that, okay? WWE is a publicly traded company, but they are not what you would call, I guess, legitimate sports franchise. So they don't have a city to answer for, or to answer to, or an owner to answer to, or, they have to answer to the investors and to the fans. And they're an entertainment company, okay? In the same way that a movie studio, if actors began testing positive, or stuntmen, or whatever it is, I guess you could make the same correlation to WWE. So, is it a big deal? Absolutely. Is it important that it not happen? You better believe it. In terms of, is it an earth-shattering, life-ending thing? Maybe not. But here's the kicker, man. As we all know, this drug test potential, and we have to keep saying potential drug test violation or drug test failure, did not come from WWE against Brock Lesnar. It has come from another authority. And that, when he fought in UFC, the USADA is who we're talking about here, folks. There's a story online right now. You can go look it up, find the website, have at it. There's a question of whether or not will Brock be suspended for SummerSlam if this does come out to be 100% fact that yes, the USADA does find that he did indeed fail the drug test. Well, here's the thing. WWE could suspend him for PR, just for the sake of how it looks to the press, how it looks to ESPN, how it looks to fans, how it looks to investors. They can do whatever they want to do, and that makes perfect sense. Okay, let's just be honest about it right now. It makes perfect sense. At the same time, however, the state of New York, which of course SummerSlam is going to be in New York, of course. The New York State Athletic Commission, easy for me to say, requires whatever test they require the day of the event. It doesn't matter, because here's the thing. Okay, so in the state of New York, and I don't know if you know this, I've known this for a while. Okay, the New York State Athletic Commission cannot suspend Brock Lesnar as a pro wrestler, because the commission no longer requires licenses in the state of New York, and only wrestling promoters are licensed after they pass a screening process and put up an appropriate bond through the commission. Okay, and that's it. So they do have to submit a blood pressure test to ensure they are fit to compete, but that's all that the state of New York requires. However, if you're WWE, you have two problems. One is you want to make a whole bunch of money, and Brock Lesnar's sitting at home on July, or not July, excuse me, but in August when SummerSlam takes place. Brock Lesnar sitting at home when SummerSlam takes place is not how you make a whole bunch of money. You make a whole bunch of money by having Brock Lesnar on the card in the main event versus Randy Orton. Okay, but that's not going to happen if WWE chooses to suspend him, which leads to problem number 2. If you keep Brock Lesnar on the card for SummerSlam so you can make a whole bunch of money, what's that going to say to your fans? What's it going to say to your investors? What's it going to say to everyone involved? That's the question you have to ask yourself right now. Because, dude, honestly, in my opinion, and this is just me being straight with you, I'm of the mindset that from a PR standpoint, it's a terrible idea to have him there. But as a realist, as a pro wrestling analyst, as someone who does this all the time, I don't think there's any chance in hell that Brock Lesnar is going to be suspended and will miss SummerSlam. That's my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. I think WWE is going after the dollar, and good for them to do it because that's what they should do as a pro wrestling promotion, especially the biggest one in the world. You're supposed to go after the money. Okay, for anyone out there that gets upset about that, boo-hoo, cry about it. There's a reason that Roman was left in the main event because it's going to draw people watching. It's going to hopefully get the buy rates up. It's going to draw ratings for the network. It's going to get more money in their pockets. I'm all for it. Anyone out there that does not want WWE to be successful and to make as much money as possible, I question whether or not you're actually a wrestling fan. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, and I've said this before, a little mini rant, we'll get back to the story here, but if WWE ever fails as a company in this country, pro wrestling is going to die. Now, you don't want to hear that. It's not something you ever want to think about. Neither do I. Trust me when I tell you that. I don't ever want to see it happen, straight up. But if you really believe that TNA or Ring of Honor or Lucha Underground, all fine companies in their own right, okay, if you believe that those 3 companies can bring pro wrestling back to the status that it's at right now, in terms of main event, in terms of mainstream media crossover, in terms of just being entirely thrust into American pop culture, you are dead wrong. Okay, so we need WWE to succeed, and all these other companies can follow against them or follow with them. Whatever they want to do is fine. But brother, it's not happening. They can't carry the load, and they shouldn't be expected to. WWE's the standard bearer for a reason, folks. And so we need that company to stay afloat at all costs. Now, does that mean at the cost of destroying the product, destroying the business? Of course not. But dude, just remember this. For as many of you out there that believes that WWE is destroying pro wrestling, I challenge you to watch NXT. I challenge you to watch the Cruiserweight Classic. I challenge you to watch the talents on Raw and or SmackDown. And I challenge you to remember this, that a lot of the guys in charge, the bookers, the road agents, maybe not on creative, and that's fine, it's whatever. You can't fight City Hall. You can't fight the fact that Stephanie McMahon, Helmsley, is in charge of Raw, is what I've always read and what I've always been told. Whether or not that's true, who knows? But I'm pretty sure that it is. You can't fight that. It's Vince's kid. Can't fight it, all right? So shut up about it. But the road agents, the bookers, the guys backstage working with talent, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, Terry Taylor. You're going to sit there and tell me that these guys don't have the business best interests at heart? You're fooling yourself. Now, are they all mindless drones that never speak up to Vince? Then that would be a problem. But I don't think that's happening. They're speaking up to Vince. They're speaking up to Hunter or somebody. And Hunter is an old school pro wrestler at heart as well. So let's don't forget any of that either. So everyone just calm down about it. It's going to be fine, all right? The question is, how does WWE handle the Brock Lesnar situation? If they proceed with his booking at SummerSlam, which I believe they certainly should, then again, it's a PR nightmare in some regard because, the guy that the US ADA claims failed, if it does come out to be that way, failed the drug test and is not fit to compete because of that offense, if that's what they say. All conjecture at this point on my part, just saying, then suddenly it's going to become, well, he's not good enough for that, but he's good enough for your silly little pro wrestling. That's not going to be good for any of us, okay? Again, hang your head in shame when a story like this comes out about a pro wrestler. It's a terrible day for us as fans. You should be offended. You should be upset. I am too, and that's how it is, man. Because when it comes to Brock Lesnar, he is not very complex. The title of the column is Complex City. He's a lot harder now than he was before because of this allegation, okay? And here's the thing. When it comes to Brock Lesnar, again, if you keep him on the card, you're going for the payday, and I'm good with that. If you keep him on the card, you're also risking a huge PR nightmare. You have to understand that as fans, because I understand that as a fan myself, and that's life and that's how it is. However, at the same time, WWE has to do what is best for business. You might hate that quote, but it's the truth, man. They got to do what's best for their company on that particular night. They got to do what's best. But here's the thing. Do you put Orton over? Does now suddenly Brock's star begin to fade? Okay? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. If he puts Orton over, people are going to look at Brock in a different light. It'll be great for Orton, but at the same time, dude, don't forget this. Don't ever forget this. That no one goes over on Brock Lesnar without losing in the end. Okay? Brock has come back and beat every single one of them, with the exception of Goldberg. And I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head that holds that last final victory against him. Maybe he exists. I'm not quite sure where the final feud ended with Brock and Kurt. I think Brock won. But I'm pretty sure that Brock has won every feud that he's been attached to. In the end, he wins. Okay, he destroyed John. He's won every feud since then. He won the Triple H feud. He won the Undertaker feud. He won CM Punk. He beat everyone. Okay. Big Show. The only time he ran into Mark Henry, he destroyed him. So, Brock wins every time. So if he were to lose to Orton, dude, that's a big, big deal, man. Be fantastic for Orton, not so good for Brock. And it would suddenly call into question what's going to happen now with the Beast Incarnate. Is his star power fading? All right, if you believe that one allegation, and let's say he did fail it, if you think that's going to ruin his career, I think you're crazy. I think that he needs to be creative about this thing and get him back on track. For the fans that are watching that are saying, hey, what's up? You were supposed to be different. And that's the thing with Brock, man. He was supposed to be different. He was supposed to be the exception, not the rule. He was the guy that when you looked at Brock, he was an oddity. He was a freak of nature. He was something entirely different than what you'd seen before. A legitimate athlete, a true competitive guy that could excel and did excel in every sport he played and was UFC champion. A legitimate fighting competition, man, for what it's worth. But he makes his living as a pro wrestler. That's pretty complex in and of itself. So you're going to tell me that guy is going to start losing. Not going to happen. Not today, not tomorrow, not next year. And when it does start to happen, that is when you will see Brock Lesnar's star fade. But as we said before, everything's changed now because Brock and all this nonsense. He was supposed to be different. He was supposed to be special. That's how it's always been booked. That's how he's always been viewed. Our fans are going to continue to see him that way. Orton is no saint when it comes to that matters like this, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, no disrespect intended. But why should he have to job to Brock now? But again, as we said, if he beats Brock, what does that say about Lesnar? He just won in UFC. He's always been unstoppable in WWE from the very beginning to now. And he's the same monster he was before the anti-doping violation came to light. If he goes down now, his star is fading. Okay, WWE's in a tough spot. I've written this a bunch, man. I've written it for Sportskeeda. I probably wrote it for What Culture at one time. I wrote it for Bleacher. I've written on my own blog. I've written it for Camel. I've written it for everyone, man. That, WWE has booked itself into a corner with Brock Lesnar. I'll never forget that one quote that Shawn Michaels threw at Bret Hart during their feud when Shawn was trying his best to play the babyface in this feud, and the fans were kind of having it but kind of not having it. All right. When he came out and told Bret's wife she was delusional. Was it Davey Boy's wife he told that to? Maybe it was Davey Boy's wife. He said, you are delusional. But he says to Bret, he says, I'm not going to paint myself into a corner saying that I'm the best there is or best there was, the best there ever will be. I'm human. I can have a bad day. Which I thought that's something a heel would never say, but a babyface would say, which makes perfect sense. WWE has painted itself into a corner, man, because now that this has happened, what do you do now? Because if you have Brock start jobbing, what's that say about, did you hear that? Jobbing. Hear that? I told you I'm Southern, man. What are you going to do? Now that you have Brock jobbing, is that better? Now that you have Brock jobbing out to Randy Orton or whoever else comes down the pike, then what do you do next? What's your next move? Because what's that say? That says that as a company, WWE backed the wrong horse. And the horse they backed was this unstoppable monster. But now that he failed a drug test, everybody can pin him, which exposes the business, and you don't want that. That company's done its own. And I just praised WWE, and I said I hope they continue to exist. And I do. This isn't going to change anything, but I will say this out loud for everyone to hear. is that WWE should be ashamed of itself, in as much as it has exposed the business to a degree that the likes of which we've never seen as fans. It always has. It will probably continue to do so from now to doomsday. And they love to do it. The workers love to do it. They all expose the business. They all break kayfabe. The minute they go on the air, they break kayfabe. The minute Shinsuke Nakamura comes out and says he's the king of strong style, he's broken kayfabe. And I love him. I love him. It's not a hang-up that I'm losing sleep over. But strong style refers to his style of wrestling, which is you hit a little bit harder. You know, you're very forceful with your forearm. You're very forceful with your kicks. It's a very grind and smash and grind in your face. Well, isn't all pro wrestling supposed to be forceful? Isn't all pro wrestling supposed to hurt? Isn't all pro wrestling supposed to be grind and smash? Because pro wrestling's real, right? That's how it's sold to us as a shoot. That's how it's sold. But yet now we're calling Nakamura the king of strong style. But we might as well say he's the king of stiffing. He's the stiff guy. He stiffs people. I mean, that's basically what we're kind of saying here, that he works stiff in the ring. He taters guys, right? He throws potatoes, as they say up north. Down here it's taters, just to let you know. But, I mean, you tell me, is that breaking kayfabe? Is it enough for you to lose sleep over? It is. It is for some people. Maybe not for me. Like I said, I'm not dying over what's been said or whatever. But it's another small example. I mean, when I see Dolph and Miz work each other on Monday, they're yelling and screaming, getting red in the face. They hate each other. Then the next night, the Lakers game, they're tweeting out photos of each other. They're sitting beside each other at the Lakers game. I'm like, are you sharing popcorn too, guys? What's going on over there? I mean, come on, man. Kayfabe's dead, WWE. We all know that. So, I mean, the business is exposed every time. It will be more exposed if they decide to start putting Brock Lesnar in a losing streak. It's not going to happen. You guys know that, right? Brock's not going to start losing matches. But again, man, WWE's in a very tough spot here. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch. I can't wait to see how they'll handle it. By the time you listen to this, maybe it will be handled. I don't know. Maybe it's all going to work itself out in the end. Who knows? But as we've said before, man, the company is painting itself into a corner with Brock. He's so dominating. He's so... he's so in your face. He wins all the time. He's unstoppable. He's the juggernaut and all this other stuff. But, again, the problem I have for the whole deal, man, is, again, you're telling me that this guy can't be beaten, yada, yada, yada. So what happens when he's done? Have you thought about that? What happens when Brock Lesnar is done? How does WWE move on? Who's the next main event guy? Who's the next attraction? Who's the next sellout? The selling out the arenas. Who's the next guy who can put his face on the posters? Who's the next guy who can maybe not build the company around, but build the main event around, build the pay-per-view around, build the WWE Network event around? Who's going to be that guy? Because do they have him? It's not going to be John. John's sidestepping. We all know that, right? John's sidestepping as we speak. WWE's putting over the idea that John Cena, his schedule is not what it used to be. He doesn't have time, yada, 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 this, that, and the other for the business. So he's going to be sidestepping. He's going to be taking a step back. He's going to be making room for other stuff, which means he won't be wrestling quite as much as he's done before. A lot of people pretty happy with that. Let's just be honest about it. But, I never said I was. I just said a lot of people. But, however, I will say this much for that company. John has done a tremendous job and should be thanked wholeheartedly for his service. It's not over yet, of course. And it won't be over to the day that John takes his last breath, because he's always going to be attached to that company. I'm good with that. Everyone else should be good with that. He deserves what he gets in terms of being a main event star, because the dude does work hard. All that stuff about he's the first guy there, last one to leave, that's not just catchphrase, man. That's the truth. That's who he is. So at the end of the day, get over the fact he's not Ric Flair in the ring. Get over the fact he's not Dusty Rhodes on the mic. Get past all of it. Doesn't matter now anyway. The only thing that matters, dude, and I'll be honest with you, the only thing that matters at all is the fact that John is who he is, WWE's committed to him, and that now it's time to start promoting the new era. So, now that we've talked about Brock a little bit, we've kind of touched on the story, let's talk a little bit about the new era, if we can. The new era is in full effect, man. I got a story going up on Sportskeeda probably in the next 2-3 days. Hopefully by the time you listen to this particular episode, it will be online. It's 5 feuds that will carry WWE's new era into the future, or carry it forward, something like that. Haven't exactly titled it yet, but it'll be good, trust me. But WWE's new era is a thing. It's a real deal. It's a storyline, yes. It's a way to put slogans on T-shirts and on TV. I get it. It's the real deal, man. They really are moving forward. They're finally turning the corner. It's their next phase of evolution. And I got to be honest with you, for a lot of people out there, including myself, couldn't come fast enough. Dude, I've wrote a whole lot about John Cena versus Randy Orton. I've written a whole lot about Undertaker versus Kane. Dude, I've written a whole lot about these guys, and God bless them. But at the same time, it's time to move on. I like writing about Kevin versus Sammy. I like writing about the Shield versus each other. I like writing about Charlotte versus Sasha. These are the stories now that's going to carry WWE into the future. The new era is a real thing, and as we are on the eve of the WWE brand split, and you can expect an episode from yours truly, hopefully, not long after the brand split concludes, probably within the week, I would say, hopefully before that following Monday Night Raw, maybe after, just so we can see how the product looks and what happens, what goes down at Battleground on July 24th. We're going to try to get number 57 up before, or maybe a little bit after that. We'll see what happens, man. But the new era is a real deal, and the brand split's upon us, and the brand split's going to change everything. It's going to change everything in ways that we probably don't even know yet. And there's guys that are attached to that company behind the scenes that were there when the first brand split did not succeed because WWE was not patient with it. SmackDown ratings started to dip a little. House shows started to dip. Remember all this? When SmackDown had its own unique pay-per-view every month, the buys weren't there. So WWE started to panic, and they started to mix the stars up on Raw and SmackDown and crossover, and it did not work. And I got to tell you, man, from me as an analyst, from me as a fan, this thing needs to work this time. Straight up, it needs to work. Okay, the only way it's going to work if WWE stays committed to the process. We shall see what happens, but you got to be excited about the new era because I am. Again, Sammy, you got Kevin, you got New Day, you got Enzo and Big Cass. Apollo Crews is doing his thing. You got Finn and Nakamura, and you got Joe down at NXT. My God in heaven, you got 3 All-Stars in NXT, man. Are you kidding me right now with that? I mean, seriously, dude. You got All-Stars sitting down there waiting for the number to be called, man. It's going to be a great day for WWE. You still got Rollins and you got Ambrose doing their thing and looking amazing doing it. You got Roman coming back, and then you got other stuff. I flew right past him, didn't I? Can I just tell you something, man? People have, and we're going to segue a little bit to Roman here, just so you know. People have lost their minds when it comes to Roman Reigns. He's got supporters. Dude, Roman's haters have grown exponentially. And, dude, when he shows up at Battleground July 24th, I can't wait till his music hits because I think it will be the equivalent of a heel reaction to CM Punk's face reaction the night that he worked John Cena and won the championship in Chicago. I think it's going to be the equivalent of that, except with a heel pop. I believe that. I believe that 100%. Roman has hurt himself. We all know this, right? I mean, you knew it the day you were told, the day you read about him failing the drug test. It's obvious Roman hurt himself. He knows it. Everyone else at the company knows it. His family knows it. You better believe that too, man. Roman's human. He's screwed up. We all screw up. We got things we wish we could take back, things we didn't do. I'm no different than any of the rest of you guys are. But at the same time, to make a mistake on that stage when the whole world's depending on you, yeah, you got a lot of pressure, and yes, you got a lot of stress, and I get that. I understand what pressure is. Trust me, brother. But at the same time, you got to be a man about it. You got to stop. Don't blame anyone else, which you didn't do, which was good, but don't take a shortcut, man. Don't take the easy way out. Don't screw up. It's okay to make mistakes, but you have to know when you're under that kind of spotlight, that kind of scrutiny, you got to be better than everyone under you. You have to be. You don't have a choice, man. That's reality. That's reality right there, dude. You have to be better than everyone else under you. And if you're not, guess what? Boom, you suck. And that's what a lot of people are saying about Roman right now. Hey, Roman, boom, you suck. Well, maybe they're not saying it quite like that, but you get the point, right? Roman's going to have a hard go at Battleground. Let's just be honest. I recently published a piece for Sportskeeda, 5 reasons why Roman Reigns should become WWE's top heel. I believe that with all my heart. I think the fans are looking for the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. They're looking for the next CM Punk. They're looking for the next megastar. I don't think that guy's there. I'm just being straight. They got amazing talent that, if booked the right way, can be huge. They don't have another Stone Cold Steve Austin right now, in my humble opinion. And I don't think he's going to be walking through the door anytime soon, as Rick Pitino once said of the of the old school Boston Celtics. Steve Austin ain't walking through that door. That's the truth, okay? So fans need to stop looking for that, all right? If WWE needs to stop looking for that. It's very important. You need to move on, dude. Stop looking for the next face of the company. Start looking for the next top heel, because that could be Roman in a heartbeat. You kidding me? In a heartbeat. He's got enough ammunition now, as if he didn't have enough before, man. He's got enough now for days on end, for years even, to turn on you and hate you and boo you. How about that? Roman gonna come out and boo you, huh? Take a taste of your own medicine there, pal. Think you know so much. But it's gonna be terrible, man. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be gruesome when it goes down, dude. I mean, at Battleground, like I said before, he's gonna get booed out the building, man. You better believe that. And it's gonna be vicious, and he's got it coming, and he knows it. He'll take it like a man. But you know what I say? Take all that animosity, take all that stress, that frustration, that tension, take all the anger, take all the, God, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of working myself to death and not getting any appreciation for it. I'm tired of catering to these people and they hate me for it. Take all of that, man, and use it to your advantage, dude. Go out there and turn on those people. Turn on those people that hate your guts, dude. Go do it, because that's what you should do to begin with, man. Straight up, you got to do it. I mean, that's what WWE has to do here. They have to. Trust me. It's got to happen, man. He's got to turn heel. That's it. I was not of the group that said he had to before. I think he definitely has to now. This whole, road to redemption, the Roman Reigns stuff, dude, stop. Stop. It sounds like an after-school movie. You know what I mean? The road to redemption, the Roman Reigns story. Just stop. Enough with the nonsense. That's all I'm saying. Move on, man. You want me to care about Roman, then show him to be a real man. Show him to be a real man on TV that comes out and he's mad. For a change, he's actually ticked off. Yes, it got to him. Yes, it's upset him. Yes, he's mad because you always hate him. He's sick of it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I want. That's what I want to see happen. I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff happening right now at the draft. Roman could go anywhere. I believe that Roman will become the face of Raw, while Ambrose will become the face of SmackDown. I think that's how it should play out. I think John will be attached to SmackDown maybe instead of Raw, is my belief, and then AJ will stay on Raw. I could be wrong. Maybe to go the other way. Maybe moving two major baby faces to SmackDown, maybe not a good idea. AJ going to SmackDown would be interesting, right? AJ versus Dean Ambrose for the World Championship. I think that should happen. I think that'd be major. Of course, be AJ going for a second world title. Here's an idea. Give it to him. Hey, how about that, fool? Give AJ Styles that belt. Have him and Dean as the next title, the next title feud for the WWE Championship, which, by the way, is no longer the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It's now the WWE title. So you tell me what happened. I know what happened. WWE's going to do the world title again. Oh, my God in heaven. Title unification means nothing, folks. That Randy Orton John Cena match meant nothing. Didn't mean much to anybody anyway, to be honest about it, okay? But now it really means nothing, as those results are going to be just thrown out the door, I suppose, as WWE is going to do a world title. Now, a lot of people hate the idea of the brand split. I wasn't up for it at the beginning. But honestly, now that it's come out, I think I'm okay with it, because I think if WWE plays its cards right, this thing could be massive. And I want it to be. I want this thing to work 100%, 110% actually. Go even higher than that. This thing needs to work, okay? And it can get over. It has the potential to get over. Whether or not WWE can get it over is a whole other question to begin with. WWE, again, this thing didn't work out the first time. We will see what happens this time. But, when it comes to the brand split, anything can happen. Tag teams can be split up. Announcers can move. Can I just be honest with you right now? I would love Mauro Ranallo to become the voice of Monday Night Raw. Oh, baby. Give it to me. That's what I want. Because Mauro is the man, dude. He brings the classic old school pro wrestling voice back to the company, which is what we've needed for years. And I want it to happen. The guy's an amazing commentator. The way he does boxing. Showtime Championship Boxing, by the way, which is an excellent show. You should watch it as often as you can. I'm trying to get myself immersed back in the world of boxing as often as I can, because it's an interesting sport, man. And a lot of good young cats out there in boxing that really are trying to bring some credibility back. So anyway, we'll see what happens with Morrow. I do hope he becomes the main event guy. Excuse me, the main event commentator on Monday Night Raw. I think that'd be amazing to hear. We'll have to see what happens. But man, like I said before, the brand split, anything can happen. Anything probably will happen. But again, the key here, folks, is that WWE has to stick to it. Don't do a knee-jerk reaction if ratings dip. Don't do a knee-jerk reaction if the house show attendance starts to fall. Don't do any of that stuff, man. Stick to your guns. Make this thing work. Because you have to. You have to if you want this thing to be successful. But I'll be honest with you. And by the way, if you're curious about what I'm doing right now, I'm actually recording this podcast. I'm online looking up a few things because, hey, I'm a writer, dude. I work all the time here, okay? There's always news coming out through WWE. There's always stuff coming through. I'm constantly getting emails. I keep getting hit up. Easy for me to say, yes. I keep getting hit up with these emails from, I'm not even sure who they're from, dude, but constant information about so and so is going to do a press campaign for WWE. Would you like to cover it for your website? And I'm like, thanks, but I think I'm good. So keep those emails coming, folks. But like I said, I'm a busy guy. I do what I can for you, but some stuff I just don't have time to do. If I'm being honest with you, that's life. But again, as we said before, new era is taking over in WWE. Yours truly has written quite a bit about it so far, and with good reason. It's an exciting time in the company. You got to be excited to be a wrestling fan, man. A lot of stuff's going down right now. AJ Styles is there. If nothing else, be excited that AJ is there, and he's being, one of the best heels that we've seen in years. Can I be honest with you? He's so good at what he does, and it's only getting better. Okay, it is only getting better. Sammy versus Kevin. You got SummerSlam coming up. You got the brand split coming up. You got new talent being signed all the time. You got the emphasis and the spotlight happening on the younger kids now. And I mean, dude, it's a great time to be a WWE fan. If it's not a great time, if you disagree with that, dude, where's your heart? Where's your soul? Okay? Come on, man. Do better than that. Be better. Be better than that, bro. Come on, you can do it, man. I mean, it's very important. It's very important that all this works out with WWE, and I hope it does, because you can be sure I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be writing about it as well. Listen, folks, we don't have a lot of time today. I don't know if I told you that at the beginning of the show. I don't think I did. Honestly, I don't think I did. We kind of zipped through this when we got a lot of other stuff we got to get to during the course of today and this week. Going to be a busy week for us here at Boink Studios. Anytime we have a pay-per-view event coming up, we always do quite a bit of coverage on it, as much as we can, put it that way. And then we've got other podcasts to work on in the coming week or so we can get you as much content as possible. So this is going to be an abbreviated podcast. We usually go for about an hour or so here on the main event. So this time we only did this. I'm looking over my news and notes here, columns that I've written here recently to see if there's anything else we need to cover. Darren Young, real quick, is making his run at the Intercontinental Championship, which is something entirely different. But good for them, good for him, because he's finally getting opportunity. He's a good worker, good talent. They've not done anything with him anyway, so they might as well put him on TV and see what sticks, which I'm all for. So we'll see what happens there. As we said, the new era is in full effect. Dean Ambrose is your champion. I do hope he retains at Battleground. I don't want to see him lose. I think that he should retain. I've written that column as well for Sportskeeda. Again, 5 reasons why Dean Ambrose must remain in WWE's top spot. And I really, truly believe that he should. Goldberg is the cover boy this time, the poster boy for WWE 2K17. At least that's what we all believed. He's using the commercials, but guess who made the cover of the game? That's right, folks, Brock Lesnar. Yours truly has ordered his copy for the Xbox One. I'm hearing the great things about the game so far, so we'll hope it's a good one. Interesting now that he's still the cover guy, if you know what I'm saying. Here's the thing, man, as we said about Roman. Everyone makes mistakes. Doesn't mean companies should give up on him. And they definitely will not give up on either guy. You know that, right? It's never going to happen. You do have to wonder, though, how sticky will it be? Will they do like a big reveal on TV the way they usually do, where they have a massive mock-up of the video game cover and they have the dark cloth, they pull it off, and there's Brock and Heyman in the ring smiling. I don't know if that's going to happen this time. We'll have to see what happens, dude. But I just don't think that's going to go down the way it's went down before with other guys, including John. So let's have to see what happens. A lot of stuff coming up soon with WWE again. Battleground, SummerSlam, the brand split. It's an exciting time, man. Go watch you some WWE. Go after you listen to this. Don't do it while you're listening, because I'm trying to be entertaining here, folks. You don't need me and WWE at the same time. Do me first, then WWE. That sounded terrible. Listen to this first, then WWE. How's that? That better for you? Try to keep it PG here, folks, at all times. There you go. So, listen, folks, they are, as Stone Cold says, I'm not going to steal this, by the way. Stone Cold always says they're giving me the go home, which, by the way, in my experience, was always the promoter tugging his ear at ringside, which told the boys in the ring, time to take it home. Well, it is time to take it home, folks. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to start wrapping things up. We're going to go ahead and hit you real quick with where you can find us. Again, if you would like to check us out online, please do so. Boink Studios is on the Twitter machine at Boink Studios. Drop us a line if you'd like to. boinkstudios@yahoo.com. Please check us out. Give us an email. You can find our work if you would like to. And by the way, I got to update the website. It's been quite a little bit since I've done it. TomClarkBR.wix.com/boink. All the artwork that you see as it pertains to the Boink Studios logo is done by good friend and podcast partner Kyle Smith. He's done all the work there. The music that you've heard on today's show and that you've heard on the sister podcasts that we have are done by a man named Philip Goose Fender. He also works under the Boink Studios banner. Both he and Kyle are available for freelance work. And just give us a shout, boinkstudios@yahoo.com, and we'll hook you up, yo. By the way, the Boink Studios website is not just pro wrestling. It's the majority of it is comic books, movies, TV, pop culture, sci-fi, that kind of thing. Because we're all fanboys here, yo. That's who we are. That's how we roll. If you'd like to go just straight up pro wrestling, please check me out on Bleacher Report. Been there 6 years strong, still loving the gig. Still hope that you're still loving it as well. I'm a featured columnist there on the WWE page. Just look me up. I'm there pretty much all the time. You can also find my work on the previously aforementioned Sportskeeda, as well as the highly esteemed Camel Clutch blog. I have my own blog, which I, again, need to update. It's been a busy few weeks for me here, folks, as I told you before. TomClarkBR.wix.com/blog. It's a pro wrestling specific blog done by yours truly. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, just look me up at TomClarkBR. My own email is TomClarkBR@yahoo.com. You can find Boink Studios on Facebook and myself as well for all of our other content. Please download and subscribe Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. That's the sister podcast we mentioned earlier. That's myself and good friend Kyle Smith. I think you will dig it. Dig 'em. Sugar Smacks. Honey Smacks? Honey Smacks. That's it. The frog, remember? Dig 'em. Where's the 80s kids at? None of you? Okay, well, it's all right, though. We love all of you. If you're listening and reading our content, dude, we love you as it is. So no worries there at all. So there you go. But, so dig it. But that's where you can find us, man. We do hope you go check out all of our stuff. Please download Tom and Kyle's Comedy Action Hour. It's not just pro wrestling. It's everything else. Comic books, movies, TV, music, a lot more. And again, our third podcast, which should be hopefully up and running by the time you hear this. If not, just keep checking back to iTunes or Google Play. It will both hit there as well. Tom Clark's 30-Minute Fun Show with myself and my sidekick, Tom Jr., as it were, my kid, Wesley. So we hope that you will tune in, subscribe, and download that podcast as soon as it hits the air. I think that's it, man. So I'm going to enjoy the brand split coming up. I'm going to enjoy Raw and SmackDown Live, which will be airing on Tuesday nights. I'm going to keep watching Lucha Underground. You should watch as well. Lucha is an amazing pro wrestling television show. It's a great product. It's got a very different look than anything else you've ever seen in your experience. It's entertaining. The action is 100% full throttle, high octane, man. It's great wrestling, and it's something you have to check out. It looks different than any other wrestling on your television dial. And it should definitely be followed. Okay, so go check out Lucha Underground. Also, of course, Ring of Honor's out there. Please keep up with them. There's some TNA news out there as well, folks, that the sale of TNA is imminent at this point. Take that for what it's worth. And I'll tell you this, despite all the hate leveled at TNA by WWE fans or whoever else wants to rip on them, we do wish that company well. We need all the pro wrestling that we can get. And we want all the companies to do well and to succeed, because the more pro wrestling, the better. And the more places these guys have to work, the better. Okay? Never you forget that. There's real people involved behind these gimmicks, behind these storylines. They have families to feed. They want to apply their craft. And listen, if you're a pro wrestling fan, you want as much pro wrestling as you can possibly get your hands on. You want this business to exist in the future for your grandkids, don't you? I do. So there you go. Soapbox over. So's this show. Thanks for tuning in, folks. This has been episode number 56. Please come back real soon for number 57. We appreciate your business, and we will see you next time on Tom Clark's Main Event.